All right, look. I've been hesitant, very hesitant to say this on camera, but I might be getting left behind as we speak.
Hey, you're late to the party, like disrespectfully late.
Well, I'm here now. I saw a bunch of my friends posting about your party, and I was like, I've got to get to that party.
So you're here because it's trending.
Well, actually, I've been doing my research on why you started this party, and the more I read, the more I was like, why am I not at that party?
The protocols on cryptocurrency are rapidly upgrading. Guys, some of these projects, you know, are being built from zero to like $100 million in less than a week. It's crazy how much money cryptocurrency is capturing and how fast it's been growing. Even I, spending 16 hours, 12 hours, 14-hour days trying to research these protocols, cannot keep up, right? And one of them is Polkadot. Polkadot has massive innovation, even innovation that I have never seen before. And in this video, I'm gonna be going over all the whole entire protocol, what's going on behind the scenes that nobody talks about. And this thing could be worth $1,200. $1,200 by the end of the bull run. Crazy price prediction. Keep watching. What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another cryptocurrency video. And yes, I am not joking with you. This could be worth like $1,200, $1,258, something like that. $1,258. Let me say it again. $1,258. It's approximately almost like 52x from its current price, being that it's a top 10 protocol, probably not going to go to zero. This is a very safe and lucrative, very safe and lucrative bet. I'll go over, of course, the price prediction towards the end of the video like I usually do with my price predictions, but I think it's more important to talk about the research. This is my way of ethically bribing you into actually doing some research, because I could just say the price prediction now, or I could say it at the end and then show you guys what's actually going on, because that's the actual real value. Because, of course, some of these price predictions are going to be 100% accurate. It's just me throwing numbers at the wall to see what sticks, right? Most people won't tell you that, but if you appreciate the honesty on this channel, do us both a favor. Hit that subscribe button as well as the push notification bell. Obviously, this content is time sensitive. If you like entrepreneurship, if you like the truth, if you like entrepreneurship and the truth while making money at the same time, this is definitely the channel for you. We don't accept sponsorships. I do my own research. There are no scripts. And yes, I am handsome. That's all I can say to bribe you. Now, if you haven't checked out our digital course, it's called Fundamental Secrets. We have 2 parabolic trades and fundamental secrets. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, apply, and you'll talk to my coach Chase. Now, the reason I'm getting left behind is, again, like I said, there's so many protocols, but thank God I have the resources, like hiring coaches to do the research for me and then force me to learn it, right? So one of my coaches kind of updated me on Polkadot. Of course, I knew what it is. Of course, I knew what was going on behind the scenes, but he got really deep. Guys, there's some crazy things happening on Polkadot. I'm talking about massive upgrades to the protocol that are going to change the face of cryptocurrency in general, interoperability. I'm talking about connecting all, the different ecosystems together in one platform. Let me say it, Polkadot, guys. I'm already up like crazy on this project. I got a pretty hefty bag.
Hefty. That's what I'm talking about.
I think it's worth analyzing for all of us. Can it beat Cardano? Can it beat Ethereum? What will be the price if it does beat Cardano and Ethereum? What's the price prediction at the end of the bull run? What's going on with this new crazy platform? We'll dive into all the details, okay? And I'm about to jump into the screen now. But really quickly, guys, this is, of course, not financial advice. Everything I say here, is just for entertainment purposes only. It just happens to be that people tend to make money off the video. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into the screen. All right, quickly, before I get left behind, let's look into this Polkadot, okay? And make sure you guys don't get left behind. I think it's really important to explore this topic for sure. All right, so what is Polkadot? Essentially a layer 1 solution. Polkadot development is on track to deliver the most robust platform security, scalability, and innovation. Now, according to my coach, which is a Polkadot specialist, he essentially explained to me that Polkadot finds the fundamental variables of these ecosystems, right? Which, and their explanation here, security, scalability, and innovation, and they don't touch anything else. They let people kind of just do their thing. Now, there's kind of 2 platforms we're gonna be talking about. If you're talking about Polkadot, you have to be talking about Kusama. So, I mean, that's up like 50% today. I made some money on that. So we'll be diving into that a little bit as well. Of course, let's just really quickly go over this. True interoperability. You can, enable cross-blockchain transfers of any type of data or asset, not just tokens. Connecting to Polkadot gives you the ability to interoperate with a wide variety of blockchains in the Polkadot network. Scalability, okay, it has probably higher, faster transaction. I'm not going to go into this too much. With a common set of validators, secure multiple blockchain, provides transactional scalability by spreading transactions across multiple parallel blockchains. Easy blockchain innovation, create a custom blockchain in minutes using our Substrate framework. Substrate is a really good topic, by the way. We're going to go into it a little bit. But I just want to show you guys that they're trying to kind of do the next thing. Now, it does have credibility because it was created by one of the Ethereum founders. So we're going to go into all of this, I promise. But really quickly, let's look into the market conditions. As of today, which today is 2/15/2021, you can see that the market cap's kind of slowly increasing, and it's doing pretty well. Like you can see, it's kind of creating this hammer candlestick right here, showing signs of the dip being bought up very quickly. That's what it's showing signs of. This is the total market capitalization without Bitcoin, right? And it's looking good as well. Same kind of story there. So this is all positive for Polkadot, being that it's the top 10 cryptocurrency. Same thing with the top 100 altcoins versus BTC. It's not the perfect, what do you call it? The hammer candlestick at all. But kind of same story we're telling here, guys. It looks like it's increasing. This is top 100 altcoins versus BTC. So this is obviously favorable for Polkadot. And if you look at Polkadot itself versus USD, we're talking about continued growth over time, which is really good. Let's look at this against BTC because that's usually what we do here. Let's look it up against BTC. So we're reaching that point where we can kind of pass in terms of Bitcoin, how much percentage gains you can make. This is some parabolic stuff here. And this is on the 1 day. Okay, so yeah, we're kind of getting to that top there. Polkadot's doing really well, and it got to where it was very fast too as well. Now, this is Kusama, and I mean, you can see from the story here, look at that volume candlestick. Look at that, right? There's obviously a lot of people talking about Polkadot, Kusama. We'll go over all those details, but really quickly, let's talk about the technology a little bit because I think that's really important. Now, the most important part about this, in my opinion, obviously there's some blockchains that have high speed throughput, right? Some blockchains that are scalable. The security is pretty good on most of these blockchains. Majority of the hacks happen, from my understanding, in DeFi when it comes to economic attacks. So the actual blockchain itself, when it comes to security, they don't really have problems in most of them. But the one that's really standing out is interoperability, okay? That's the one thing, that's the name of the game, right? That's what we're trying to do. So Polkadot is a network of protocol that allows arbitrary data, not just tokens, to be transferred across the blockchains. We talked about this. This means Polkadot is a true multi-chain application environment where things like cross-chain registries and cross-chain computation are possible. Interesting. It's kind of like the CPU of a computer. Polkadot can transfer the data across public, open, permissionless blockchains, as well as private permissioned blockchains. Wow. This makes it possible to build applications that get permissioned data from a private blockchain and use it on a public blockchain. For instance, a school's private permissioned academic records chain could send a proof of a degree verification smart contract in a public blockchain. It's basically the asymmetric encryption, but on a macro level. I know that's probably went over most people's head, but it's kind of similar to having the public and private key. It's the same thing, but they're doing it with blockchains, which insane. Now, let's kind of explain. This is a very brief explanation. I'm not going to go into the consensus because I know a lot of you don't even know what consensus means, but let's just go over specifically how it works, right? Connecting the dots. I love it, right? So they have a relay chain. Now, the relay chain, like you're saying, is the heart of Polkadot. It's responsible for the network's sharded security, consensus, and cross-chain interoperability. Now, essentially, just imagine it's kind of like the main track. It's like the main chain, right? Now, we have parachains, which can hold any blockchain with any consensus mechanism and have their own tokens to optimize their functionality for specific use cases. So the one thing I really want to show you guys is that they're basically auctioning off these parachains. Not everybody can make a parachain on Polkadot. And this is what's really blowing my mind right now because it's causing a lot of FOMO and panic because you have to purchase their tokens to get a parachain. Think about that, right? So it's insane. Now, Parathreads, not too big of a deal. Basically, they're kind of like parachains, but they're kind of like a pay-as-you-go or like a prepaid card. We can use it for a select amount of time and then let it go. And then you have the bridges that connect everything together. Now, speaking of bridges, this is, like I said, the most important thing is allowing the bridges from ERC20 tokens or Ethereum. So if there's not a way to get DeFi, because I believe this is one of the biggest killer applications in cryptocurrency right now. If there's not a way to get DeFi onto Polkadot, I think it's irrelevant, okay? I really do. Now, we have to look into that a little bit deeper. So if we look at the they actually have it. Moonbeam, this is on Moonbeam. This is the specific, they have a specific bridge for this. Is a bridge that allows two economically sovereign and technological different chains to communicate with each other. They can range from centralized and trusted to decentralized and trusted minimized. Now, if we actually click here, you can see transfer ERC20 and ERC721 tokens. This is the specific way they do it. Not gonna go into it too much. Look, mint token, send it across the bridge contract, and then you get the custom ERC20 token. Now, they actually can integrate with MetaMask, which is great. Essentially, they are working as we speak, right? So I think it's really important to understand that. Now, one other part of the technology that's really important is Substrate. So this is basically a different type of, Ethereum's coded in Solidity. Substrate is a different language created for this case. Now, one thing to note, that Gavin Wood invented Solidity. So the guy that made Solidity actually made Substrate as well. They made the new, so obviously his 2.0 version has to be better. I'm not gonna break down exactly how it's better because this video would be way too long. But look, Substrate comes with everything you need to build your own blockchain. Use the Substrate palettes, can easily create what you want and craft your own custom logic. Either way, Substrate makes building a blockchain faster, easier, and safer than ever before. And I believe that because like I said, Gavin was the first one to create Solidity. So he essentially probably made this a little bit better. I don't see why it would be worse, right? So very simple, straightforward. Now, my coach told me to watch this. I haven't watched this for myself. So let's watch it together and I'll comment on what I think. Let me pull out the headphones. Let's watch it together, guys.
We were just kind of thinking how we could maybe create the next version of Ethereum if we sort of had a green field to design upon.
Now, really quickly, just to give you guys a side note, this guy's supposed to be a savage. He's very hungry. He's like trying to really upgrade the heck out of everything he possibly can. He's not slow. Cardano is kind of the opposite to that. He's a very slow and steady pace type of guy. Now, I like him because of that reason. He's just a different type of leader. He's willing to push the meter, push the innovation. So let's see what he's talking about. And he has a solution to like having, like if there's a huge issue, like there's a solution to that. I'll explain. But let's just watch the video and let me stop talking.
So we already have technologies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are able to, in some sense, disintermediate many of the middlemen, many of the institutions and authorities, and remove the need for much of the trust in society. But what we currently have is a patchwork of, if you like, independent and isolated legal systems of the internet. And this is problematic because it creates many different groups who, although they share the same vision, they have misalignment in how they wish to achieve it, creating borders where borders don't need to be there.
We have this great new technology that is allowing us to automate one of the sort of very fundamental aspects of an economy, which is trust, right? Which is this idea that I can have reasonable expectations of what's going to happen without having to trust someone.
Especially if we engage with so many different third parties.
There was a general idea back in 2014 when we were starting Ethereum that Ethereum 2 should be being under development by late 2016, and here we were sitting around in autumn of 2016, and there was absolutely no indication that there was going to be any development, significant at least, on Ethereum 2 for some time. So really we wanted to push forward with that one way or another. Let's embark on something that we think will be complementary to Ethereum 2, a system in parallel that can fulfill things that probably Ethereum 2 is going to be less than optimal at fulfilling, and ideally that will interoperate with Ethereum 2 as well. So Polkadot is a multi-chain. The idea is that it's a blockchain, but we bundle lots of different blocks up all at the same time that can be executed in parallel, right? So these things can all be executed at the same time. In doing so, we create this sort of idea of a multi-chain because every block is actually lots of different blocks. Then we can, in principle, run 100 times the amount of transaction throughput that just one chain, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, could.
Polkadot is, in many respects, the biggest bet in this ecosystem against chain maximalism. Even if there were one perfect chain, I don't think it would stay perfect for very long.
That's really interesting. I like that. The biggest bet against chain maximalism. That's insane. So he's not trying to beat anybody. He's just trying to bring them all together. I like it. I like it. Let's keep watching.
I would try to convince people that it's really not such a good plan to be so focused on backing one winner above all others. I have here, fresh from the Apple Store, a shrink-wrapped MacBook Pro. And I'm going to give you a demo of developing a custom blockchain and upgrading it online using this very computer. So let's see what I can do in 15 minutes. So we've downloaded a package called the Substrate node template. What this is a very small repository that acts as a sort of skeleton blockchain.
Ultimately, we didn't end up using our sort of Ethereum technology set for implementing Polkadot. Instead, we created a sort of whole other one, Substrate. Now, Substrate is basically this blockchain framework. The idea is that you can make new blockchains from it. You can place this specialized logic and use the specialized logic in order to, process transactions. It's written in such a way that it works both as a blockchain that just exists on its own, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the others, and it exists as a blockchain that exists under the Polkadot umbrella as one of these, what we call parachains, what some people call shards.
At the moment, if you think you've got what it takes to develop a sort of low-level technology, you go the whole hog and you write a whole new blockchain, and that takes a very, very, very long time and a lot of skill. I really hope we can create a whole new class of development teams and development application where you don't have to know everything, you don't have to do everything to develop your whole new blockchain, but you can do just enough that you do have a domain-specific chain that has its own parameterization and its own features that allow you to get a particular job done and done well that wouldn't have been possible before because smart contracts are too bloaty and writing your own chain is too much work. And that is as simple as it is to create a whole new, different chain that has this whole new piece of functionality in Substrate.
I feel that my value add for the world is in creating technical solutions for things and delivering them. If I don't build stuff for a while, then I am in some sense addicted to it. This basically allows every coder to also be a businessman. They just place an algorithmic service online, and it's a self-sovereign, autonomous, economically strong business. You heard the phrase like, the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, the keyboard's going to become even mightier than the pen pretty soon. The world, in some sense, belongs to coders.
Interesting. So I better start coding. Nah, it's a joke. But seriously, guys, interesting stuff. Good video, good marketing. Let me turn off these headphones. And I think it's really, important to look at these things because, like I said, you don't want to get left behind. Ethereum is clunky. It's old. I'm not saying, in no way, shape, or form saying I'm selling all my Ethereum for Polkadot or Cardano in the last couple of videos. But what I am trying to say is that if you don't keep up with the times, like there could be a time where there's a flippening, right? There could be a time where Ethereum passes it or loses dominance for whatever reason. And these are our best winners, right? So you want to have at least a little bag of them, asymmetrical bet, and so you can make some money, right? So really quickly, couple of things as well that my coach made me aware of is that 60% of the total supply is currently staked. That's insane. Okay, that's really insane. Because if you do the math, I think that means that there's only 388 million DOT that can be bought up. And right now, the biggest thing is that they're coming out with Parachains. So he kind of explained it in the video. Essentially, what Parachains are chains that run parallel in Polkadot. So you have the main chain, and then you have Parachains that people can technically buy. They're actually bidding for it. They're bidding for these Parachains, and they have to, it's crazy how they do it. And I'm explaining the process of auctioning a Parachain. But before we jump into that, essentially, I wanted to explain to you guys that the other 40% is probably going to be eaten up. And this is why we've been seeing Polkadot and specifically Kusama doing so well. So when he launched this Polkadot, he actually launched Kusama at the same time. So it's not a fork, but it's the same code, right? And the reason for that is it's kind of like a test net. It's kind of like a working test. It's not an actual test net, but it's like a working test net. So Kusama obviously has been blown up recently. I've been watching what's going on. And it's because they have the same, governance model as other coins. You have to vote on a proposal to pass. And with Kusama, they're just a lot quicker to do it. So like, for example, this is a proposal example that happened 3 days ago. Essentially from what he was gauging, the vast majority of the time, it takes Kusama about a day or 2 days to get their proposals passed. And, with Polkadot, it's a little bit longer because they want to make sure Polkadot is really good, make sure they're okay, they're growing slower. So the point I'm trying to get across is the problem they're having with ADA where, and even Ethereum, where they upgrade the protocol and it's all or nothing, right? So if they're incorrect about something, they're wrong, someone hacks it for whatever reason, the whole system goes, they ruined everything, right? But with Kusama and Polkadot, it's almost like they have an extra life, right? Because they can mess up on Kusama and then Polkadot can fix that issue in the future, right? So this is like a test net, not really a test net, but an actual whole blockchain that's used for radical innovation. As you can see here, the scalable multi-chain network for radical innovation, right? So this might be something getting some exposure to as well. I have some Kusama exposure. We're up about 100% since we bought it. So, really good exposure there. Now, let me explain the concepts of the auction because this is going to cause a lot of FOMO, and this is kind of where I'm going to highlight and bring it home. We're bringing it home here. The price of Kusama and Polkadot are going to go up a lot because of this auction coming up, and this is specifically, it's coming up more in Kusama in Q2, so it hasn't even come out in Polkadot yet, and it's not going to for a while. In Q2 of 2020, I'll show you where I get that information. There's like no website that you can find this. You kind of have to dig deep into these projects, very deep into these projects to even figure out a rough estimate of when the auctions are going to come out in Kusama. But let me explain the candlestick option really quickly. So candle auctions are a variant of open auctions where bidders submit bids that are increasingly higher, and the highest bidder at the conclusion of the auction is considered the winner. Candle auctions were originally employed in the 16th century for the sale of ships and get their name from the inch of a candle that determined the open period of the auction. When the flame exhausted, the candle went out, the auction would suddenly terminate, and the standing bid at that point would win. When candle auctions are used online, they require a random number to decide the moment of termination. Parachain slot auctions will differ slightly from a normal candle auction, and that it does not use the random number to decide the duration of its opening phrase. Instead, it has a known open phase and will be retroactively determined at the normal close to have ended at some point in the past. So during the open phase, bids will continue to be accepted, but later bids have a higher probability of losing since the retroactivity determined close moment may be found to have preceded the time the bid was submitted. So essentially, insane. Now, the reason they're doing this is because basically no one's going to know exactly the cost of these parachains, and they're doing it on purpose to see how much people are willing to pay for it. So one, you don't know when the auction ends. So basically, if you're trying to buy a parachain, they said they're going to let out a few in Q2 of 2021. You don't know how many they're going to be giving, right? Two, you don't know when the auction ends, so that's going to force you to buy the parachain as quickly as you possibly can. And three, you can't see what the cost of anybody else buying is. So you essentially have to bid as high as you possibly can to secure the parachain, or you lose. It's closed off. And they say here that Polkadot's only going to have 100 parachain slots available. So as you can see, whoever wants to create a parachain on Polkadot is going to freak out. They're going to buy the rest of the supply. We talked about how 65% or 60.5% of the supply are staked currently as we speak, and I'm staking right now, and I'll show you guys how to stake in the future. So definitely hit that subscribe button. We'll do like a tutorial or something. But the other, 388 million coins, they're going to be eaten up fast. I'm not trying to cause FOMO or anything like that, but this is just the truth. They're going to be buying. The parachains can be invaluable. If Polkadot is if it passes Ethereum for whatever reason, again, like I said, they're going to be worth billions, trillions, in some cases, probably trillions of dollars, obviously down the line. So they're going to pay a lot, is what I'm trying to say. They're going to eat up that supply. Now, when are these parachains launching on Kusama, KSM? Okay. Now, this is just a project. I'm not going to talk about the project in particular, but if you go to, for example, to polkadot.js, I'm not going to go to it now because it's going to get crazy out here. It's going to take a very long time. But if you go to the protocols that are trying to buy the parachains, like a whitelist. So essentially you enter a list to even be, included in the list of people that can buy, right? And you have to have a project or whatever the case is. You have to show credibility. And then from that list, it shows the people that want to buy the parachain, right? And it's auction, okay? And these people are basically, this is like, you can't get this information anywhere else. Like the only way to get this information, you're not gonna find it on Polkadot's website or Kusama's website when they're launching the parachain auction. They don't really say anything like that. But you can see right here, they kind of spilled the beans. Like right here, 2021, launch SpiritNet mainnet on Kusama, subject to securing parachain slot. So they're kind of spilling the beans right here. You can see this with Bondly, for example, as well, and a couple of other protocols. They're kind of all saying Q2 of 2021. So you guys got some time. But you got to understand that this thing is taking off regardless of what's going on. And this is, again, everything I'm talking about here is Kusama, because it's not like, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash where they're fighting each other. Here, they kind of play with each other synergetically to make sure that Polkadot thrives. So Kusama is kind of doing everything first. It's kind of like looking into the future. Like if you could look, at what happens to Kusama, it's probably going to show the same representation on Polkadot. So everything I'm talking about here in this context of, the actual parachain being auctioned off, we're talking about Kusama. Okay. So, there's definitely some growth potential there for sure. So again, I just want to be very clear with you guys. Launching 2021, you guys got some time to scoop up some Polkadot, some Kusama. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but let's talk about what this could potentially be in the future. Obviously, I own the coin, both of them. I own both of them, DOT and Kusama, and I'm up like crazy on them. But what can this project be? I don't know, towards the end of the bull run. It's a very interesting concept. Now, typically, I take my price prediction. If you want to watch my other videos, I believe the highest price Bitcoin can get is about maybe $300,000, $288,000, specifically because the stock to flow X ratio, S2FX. I'm not going to go into that. Again, this video is already getting long. So you guys can look into it for yourself or look at my other price prediction videos on Bitcoin. So it's just very simple math to see where Kusama can be and this is just spoiler alert, this is the answer, but let me show you how I got to the answer. So if Bitcoin's price is 288,000, right? All you have to do is divide it by its current price to see how many multiples the whole market or Bitcoin's like the market. It's basically the market. So if we divide this by 48,484, right? 5.9 multiples. So let's just make it even. Let's say 6 multiples is 6x. Bitcoin has a 6x potential. So from this 6x multiple, all we have to do is take Ethereum's market cap. So if I go over here to Ethereum's market cap, let's see if I can copy this to make this easier. And then we pull over the calculator, paste this in here, and then multiply this by 6. You can see that this can be the potential market cap of Ethereum at the number 2 spot at the end of the bull run. Now, if Polkadot passes them, this is where things get crazy. So if I pull up this calculator one more time and we divide it by the circulating supply right here, boom, I'm gonna copy that. And this will give us the actual price of the coin divided by circulating supply, boom, $1,300 per coin. Now, I'm gonna blow your mind right now. This is gonna really blow your mind. If you put in $1,000 today, you will get 35 coins multiplied by $1,300. That's 13,000, 1,300. That means you could turn $1,000 into 45 grand. We're talking about a 45x on your money with Polkadot. This is a top 10 coin, fairly safe, not going to go to zero. All-star team, all-star way of going through things. Their product is amazing. They've already grown so much. Guys, I don't know what else to tell you. You definitely, in my opinion, should have a small bag of Polkadot and Kusama. But yeah, there's the price prediction right there, $1,000 to $45,000. That's insane. I'm probably gonna buy more after this video. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. If you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism, subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, if you don't get with this technology, you will get left behind. And if you're not researching like a madman and you don't have a team behind you to research like a madman, you will get left behind. I promise that. Catch you guys in the next video.